With the General Data Protection Regulation coming into force on May 25th, Expert Agent has made changes to help you as the data controller to comply with GDPR. Some changes have been made to the configuration of your Expert Agent. If you have access to your Office configuration, hover over Tools in the top menu and select it from the drop-down. Clicking into Move It under Business Configuration, you will see a tick box at the bottom allowing you to prefer consent by default. This dictates whether or not new clients are automatically signed up for Move It. You can, of course, set Move It consent on a per record basis as well. Under Output Configuration, clicking into Matching Defaults will allow you to set if you would like applicants whose consent is unknown to be matched to properties. Currently, this box will be ticked by default, but in our final GDPR release we will untick this box. That gives you time to ensure all your applicants have individually selected matching consent options. In Setup Weekly Email, you can choose if you would like to send your weekly email to applicants who have not yet confirmed if they consent to receiving it. Again, this box will be ticked for now, but in our final GDPR release we will untick it, so make sure you've contacted your applicants and updated their consent options. When you're adding a new applicant into Expert Agent, you can click into Applicant Preferences directly. But if you click Next or Save in the Add Applicant wizard, the consent options will pop up for you if you haven't already filled them in. We've added consent options for general marketing, property matching, the weekly email, and Move It if you have it enabled. You still have the same contact preferences as before to allow you to record how your applicant would prefer to be contacted. Clicking into Applicant Preferences from the Details tab of an applicant record will allow you to update their consent options. The date and time will repopulate automatically, but you can use the calendar and clock icons to backdate it. A record will be added to the applicant's Event tab, and remember that you can export events to CSV if required. Take some time to go back through records that you already have in Expert Agent to get the options updated. For your existing applicants, consent for general marketing will default to Please Select, as will consent for property matching. If you had previously set for the applicant to receive the weekly email, this will now be Please Select. But if you had turned off their weekly email, then it will say No already. And if you clone an applicant, their consent options will be copied across to the new record. Just as we saw with applicants, on the Add New Property wizard, you are prompted to fill in your vendor or landlord's consent and contact preferences. For properties added to any department, you'll see the option of General Marketing, and for sales properties, you'll have Move It consent options as well. Now is the time to start working through your existing property records to capture your client's consent. Clicking into the Vendors tab on your sales properties will allow you to update consent options for each individual vendor. To work through your lettings properties, you'll want to focus on the landlord record itself. Opening up the landlord record, under the Details tab, you can fill in your landlord consent options there. When running property matches, the only thing that will have changed is the number of people that you're going to see returned in your match. By default, you'll be seeing everybody still because we've ticked that box in configuration to include applicants in your matches who have not yet confirmed if they consent to being matched. However, once that box is unticked, you may see that you have smaller lists of applicants appearing in your property matches. That will be because they have not consented to property matching. Work through all of your applicant records to make sure that anybody who does want to be matched to properties is going to be included. Any matches that you do see from here, you can process in the usual way. To help you manage consent options on all of your existing records, your applicant, property, and landlord grids now have new columns available which will allow you to filter and sort based on consent. Be sure to add in those new columns so that you can begin to work through your records. When you're looking to contact multiple clients at a time, you'll be asked which consent options you would like to adhere to for this specific contact. On any emails that you send from Expert Agent, the recipients will now see a new link at the bottom, allowing them to update their own consent and contact preferences. If a client updates their own contact or consent preferences via this portal, an event will appear on their record within Expert Agent so that you can track how and when consent was changed. For further information on our changes to allow you to comply with GDPR, see the Learning Centre.